following thoughts on Happy Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you.
Call security! Ryan in Chicago. You're on Rover's Morning Glory. Good morning, Ryan. I like this guy already. I like this guy. This guy, wow. All right. Do people tell you that you are a goofball? Or
You met young Ryan Hoppe or Hoppe. Ryan.
Okay, and your name?
Ryan Hoppe.
Okay, Ryan Hoppe. Where do you live?
Arlington Heights.
Ah, so you're from the rich north suburbs.
What's going on, Ryan Hoppe? This is Tony Romo.
Your buddy Ryan Hoppe.
No one knows who Ryan Hoppe is.
You never have to worry about offending Ryan Hoppe.
Isn't he like 7 foot tall?
He's 7 foot tall. He's
a kid.
He's a kid. He's been trying to find his place in radio.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. He's just, I don't know. He's spread himself pretty thin.
He's got good mentors.
And he's motivated.
Happy Hour is on now. Happy Hour is on now.
Yo, what's up? This is Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. For the next hour, my goal in life is to change the way you think about things. For the next hour, I want my opinions and my rants to broaden your horizon. And if they do broaden your horizon and you want to get into contact with me, I promise you, I'm a man of my words. I'm honest when I say that you have to give me a call at 856-49-HOPPE and we can have a chat about my opinions. But maybe you're shy, but you want to get into contact with me. I promise you, it's not hard. Tweet me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio. There, you can chat me live while I'm doing the show. And if you miss it on demand, you can catch up on all 500 episodes that I have of Hoppe Radio going back to like October 2013. All right. Got some news here on Happy Hour I have to get to. And I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. But Zach Townsend is no longer a part of Happy Hour. The comedian Zach Townsend. Me and him are friends. But he's busy with his job right now and with his comedy on the side and writing for the hungoverachiever.com that he just wasn't completely into doing the podcast, and he would even say that. But I'm not the radio guy where when I get rid of somebody, or it's not even me getting rid of them, I don't like saying it in that narrative. Whenever a person leaves the show, you'll never, ever hear me ever say a bad word about them, because I wouldn't say it to their face, because it'd be rude and unnecessary. And if you have to spend your show bashing people, then you need to find content to talk about. So you'll never, ever hear me ever bash another podcast or another comedian, because I wouldn't say it to their face. You know what I mean? But I will bash the news. So we have a lot to get into. All right. Saw this here. I just think Johnny Manziel basically is the new Ryan Leaf. This dude, if he cannot get his act together, which he's not going to, he is going to just burn himself right into the ground forever. See this? From the new site that I get all my prep from. It's great. Who would think that BroBible.com would be the place to get prep? You know, you would think it'd be CNN or the Huffington News, but it's all about Donald Trump and Meryl Streep today. So I had to find some way to get prep. So I see this here from everyone's favorite news source, BroBible. Prosecutors now looking into whether Johnny Manziel violated his order against his ex-girlfriend by partying in Miami. Woo! You can add that to your LinkedIn page, Johnny Manziel. These accolades of breaking the law. You're going to have more accolades of being a bum than you ever will for being, let's say, in the Pro Bowl or a Super Bowl winner. The Heisman is all you're ever going to get, dude. And I'm not into sports talk. I'm not into bashing athletes because they're better than me. They'll bang hotter girls than I ever will. I would like to think someday I'll have a nice house and a nice car, but right now they have nicer things. So my point is, I'm not into sports analysis where these nerds bash these athletes. But I will say this with utter confidence. Johnny Manziel has a drinking problem. The fact that he can't keep himself away from being that near to his ex-girlfriend and then is in Miami for partying when he said last August, oh yeah, after the 4th, I'm good. I'm not going to drink anymore. 5 months later, he keeps on doing it. And if you truly think about it, if you go to the Mayo Clinic and you look up the definition of being a narcissist and having that as a disorder, Johnny Manziel, if you were to write a new dictionary, under narcissist, it would say, example, Johnny Manziel. Because every single characteristic of a narcissist literally goes to this dude. Having an exaggerated sense of self-importance, bingo, that is Johnny Manziel through and throughout, thinking that you're great and everyone looks up to you. All right, it also says here, thinking that you need to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Bingo! Came into the league, he won the Heisman, but he was a short quarterback and just thought he was going to come into Cleveland and get the job. And the fact is, too, I worked in Cleveland 2 years ago for about 4 months. I wasn't famous, I wasn't known, but I got recognized at bars for being Hoppe on Rover's Morning Glory. And I was on the show for 10 weeks, and I got recognized. You have a chance in that market in Cleveland. They love the idea of a local celebrity. They love it. And Johnny Manziel had such a great opportunity in Cleveland to take over and have the dog pound be his and have a chance to be great. And Johnny Manziel didn't want it because he wants to be a Kardashian. He doesn't want to be a Drew Brees where you're a talented short quarterback. He had such an opportunity to take over Cleveland. They love their sports there. They love it. And they had every chance they gave him to embrace him, and he kept effing it up. Exaggerating your achievements and talents, which is what Johnny Manziel did every time he went to the club. You would literally think that the guy's partying because he won a championship. But no, it's because he was on a team that went like 3-13. Yippee-ki-yay. Needing immediate admiration, having a sense of entitlement, expecting special favors. Like when he gets pulled over by the cops, he says, "Do you know who I am, bro?" When he got pulled over in Avon, Ohio, expecting favors and compliance with your expectations, taking advantage of others, like how he's been an awful teammate. Everyone says whenever they've met him that his crap doesn't smell and he's hard to be around. Being envious of others and believing that people envy you. You know, Johnny Manziel felt threatened by everybody on that team, especially Josh McCown last year. You know, Johnny Manziel just wants to think that he's the best because he was the best when he won the Heisman a few years ago, but he hasn't lived up to it since. And it's utterly sad because I thought this dude was going to take over Cleveland. And if he wasn't going to take over Cleveland, I thought he had a huge chance to go to the Cowboys and do something because Jerry Jones wanted him. It made sense that he would be on a flashy TMZ type team. But this is what happens, folks, when you cannot handle your drinking. I mean, case in point, you look at the wide receiver for the New York Giants and how much of an imbecile he is and how annoying he is punching that wall after they lost to the Packers. Odell Beckham Jr. I was drawing a blank. You look at Odell Beckham. Now, he's accomplished more than Manziel, without a doubt. But that dude just does not focus completely, and the Giants were partying on that boat, and they had drugs in them. And say what you want about the NFL's rules against drugs, but these guys that don't live up to what they can be, it's the most disappointing part about sports. If Odell Beckham and the Giants were more focused, they would have beat the Packers, in my eyes. And if Manziel was more focused, he would be doing something in the NFL right now. But right now, he's out partying in Miami, and his life is going to waste. Call the show, 856-49-HOPPE. It's 856-49-HOPPE. All right, tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppe Radio, and get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop.
Happy hour. Happy hour.
What's up? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Happy Hour podcast here in Tampa Bay. And I'm here today to talk about my guy, Joe Sale of the Tampa Image Factory. About 4 months ago, I needed somebody to take press shots for me for my podcast, and it was hard to find people because it seems like in this day and age, everybody is a photographer. But the thing that I immediately liked about Joe Sale was that he was a laid-back guy who was willing to work with my schedule, and I immediately dug the vibe of his office. The things they have there include family portraits, commercial work for your company. They can make images for your events, your big day when you're going to get married at your wedding, and they even make photography for products and anything you need for the home or office. And if you're sitting here and you're going, man, this sounds like quite the deal. Man, how can I get into contact with such a trustworthy and hardworking photographer like Joe Sale? Trust me, it's not rocket science. All you got to do is call him at 813-417-2626. It's 813-417-2626. Or you can check him out online at TampaImageFactory.com. That is TampaImageFactory.com. And if you go there and tell them that I sent you, he will hook you up with a top-notch deal. Trust me when I say Joe Sale of the Tampa Bay Image Factory is the best in the Bay. Hey, what's up? This is Ryan Hoppe from the award-winning Happy Hour podcast and winner of the fight against Jake Herron of the Crowded Table in the My Count the Punch Out. And the main reason that I won that fight was because of the training that I got from Main Event Boxing in St. Petersburg. And now maybe you're not even going into a boxing match, but you want to get into shape, and you're sick and tired of looking at your gut, and you're sick and tired of going to the gym and getting average results, and you're saying to yourself, man, how can I get into the best shape of my life, especially here in Tampa Bay, where you should have a summer body all the time. Trust me, I'm a man of my words. When you need to go to Main Event Boxing in St. Pete, there are so much good things about them, including the fact that they have a high-intensity 30-minute body workout, which focuses on every part of your body and conditioning. They will make sure they will now wear you out, and each day is a different workout, and they really do care about seeing the progress you have as a person and with the muscles you will gain after coming to Main Event Boxing. To get into contact with them, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. All you got to do is call Josh, the owner and trainer, at 727-564-3948. That's 727-564-3948. And you can visit them in person at 2575 28th Avenue North, and that's in St. Petersburg. Trust me when I say Main Event Boxing is the best in the Bay.
Tweet Ryan Hoppe at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Snapchat him at Hoppe Radio. And email him anytime at ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. Now back to the show.
This is a remake by the hit Brainiac.
Welcome back to Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. Call me 856-49-HOPPE. That's 856-49-HOPPE. The phone lines are open. All right, we have a lot to talk about. And I saw this clip because I've been going on TMZ lately. And I've been looking for prep, you know? Because I used to hate the website. But it's like, if gossip isn't going to go anywhere, and most radio shows talk about gossip, you might as well embrace it. Because I want to bring a different side to gossip and how I break it down with my opinion. So I saw this headline, and it immediately intrigued me. Because I'm a Chicago Bears fan. And Mike Ditka, a few months ago, gave his opinion on Jay Cutler. And even though the season's over with, I think it's pretty accurate, and I think it's worth listening to, because to me, it's very odd to hear Mike Ditka like sort of defending Jay and being nice, because this is the dude that would root against them in a way where he didn't really believe in Jay. And guys like Dan Hampton up in Chicago. And it's weird now that Jay is about to leave the team potentially, that you hear them not being as hard on him. Because this whole era with Jay has just been utterly bizarre. All right, here's the audio, and it's from TMZ.com.
What do you think the Bears should do with Jay Cutler? Is it time to move on from Jay Cutler?
Well, right now they don't have a choice. I mean, really, if you look at it realistically. They have a lot of money tied up in Jay.
Yeah, that was the first ridiculous thing that the Bears did. not going to sit here and say I have a degree in economics. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know how much to pay an NFL quarterback. But the amount of money they gave Jay for how average he was and just going to the playoffs once, it was laughable. What they should have done was try to groom for the future. Like, I know the Patriots got Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's Brady's team. But do something like that, where you at least try to pretend like you care about the future. But all these backups they have had over the years with Jay, and it's just, the era was not meant to be, and it's very sad because when he came in 2009, going on 8 years ago, I remember I was a freshman, and everyone's like, yeah! He's going to lead us to the Super Bowl, yeah! And nothing panned out of it, nothing. And it's one thing to keep a guy around. You know, there's quarterbacks that have been average that have made it in this league. Carson Palmer, Matt Schaub. But you look at them. Every team they've been on at some point has moved on from them. But Jay got paid the big money because the McCaskies who own the Bears have no idea what they're doing. Mike Cad knows more than what they're doing. Everybody keeps going back to the 85 Bears. Oh, yeah. Great. There is nothing going on with Chicago football. It's absolutely killing me. All right, back to the clip. This is from TMZ.com. It's Mike Ditka giving his take on Jay Cutler.
He's right now a problem right now. Fault, but I mean, he made some mistakes in the game. You can't throw the ball. You can't turn the ball over. Everybody knows that. And he should know that as much as anybody. If you just don't want to turn the football over, so you can be a gunslinger out there. You got to be somebody who takes care of the ball, especially at the quarterback position. Especially if you're the leader of that football team and people look to you for leadership.
That's always been Jay's issue. The issue with Jay has been he's never really seemed like he's completely embraced the role of being a leader, of being a guy that would lead you to the promised land. You look at Aaron Rodgers and the leadership he has, or even both Manning brothers, Tom Brady or Drew Brees. You see greatness in them. You see how they can lead a team to win. But Jay Cutler literally had a great wide receiving group with Bennett and Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte. And he couldn't do anything. And now you have Bennett over on the Patriots doing well. And he's saying basically that Jay was a douchebag. So Jay had this grand, awesome chance in the third biggest city, Chicago, one of the best cities in the world, to take over. And it just was not meant to be. And the second thing that Mike Ditka said in that clip is that you can't turn the ball over, which is obvious. It's football 101. But the part is, it's when you're being a gunslinger. And that's always been the issue with guys like Jay, is you live and you die with how he was a gunslinger and how he threw the football. Because if you had Brandon Marshall in the outfield catching the ball, then he would help bail out Jay and he would have some awesome plays. But when he had Devin out as a wide receiver, that long experiment they did, or whenever he would force a throw and he was getting rushed because his offensive line was bad. I mean, he's just never really ever lived up to the idea of being a leader. And whenever he has forced the ball, that's when issues have happened. Are you a Bears fan and you want to chime in? 856-49-HOPPY. That's 856-49-HOPPY.
On saying that, they didn't play good. There's no question about it. Can they play better? Yeah, I thought they played better the week before. I thought I saw some good things they were doing, running the football, and I thought the defense played a little better. But they got carved up the other day, and that's just it. It happens sometimes. But I don't have an answer for what they're going to do with him. But I know that they got a lot of money tied up in his contract, so I don't think they're going to do too much.
Is Jay Cutler the right person that can kind of lead the Bears to where they want to go, making the playoffs and obviously winning the Super Bowl?
Now, what do you think is going to be the answer of Mike Ditka in 2016 when this is recorded? Mike Ditka of 2010 would have said he has to prove us to see if he would win the Super Bowl. But Mike Ditka doesn't work right now. He's not on ESPN. And Mike Ditka wants to be politically correct because he wants to have a job. This next answer, when they say, can Jay Cutler, who has just made the playoffs once in 8 years on the Bears, and is very injury prone and turnover prone, He's been there almost a decade. Can he lead us to the promised land when he's had this type of life in the NFL and he has this type of record and the accolades that he has now won? Can he lead us to the promised land? What do you think the answer will be from Mike Ditka? I think you know where I'm getting at.
Don't know. You could say that about a lot of quarterbacks too. You know, I look around and I look at the kid playing in Denver, Simeon. Is he the guy? I don't know, but he's the guy they got.
Huh? I'm no sports analyst. I'm no expert. But he just said the kid Simeon over in Denver. Jay Cutler is not a kid. Jay Cutler has been at this for a while. Jay Cutler is going to be 34 in April. Unless I missed the definition. Last time I checked, that is not a kid. Maybe it's a new definition. Trevor Siemian, the quarterback in Denver, is 25. There's almost a 10-year difference between Jay Cutler and Trevor Siemian. Trevor is kind of a kid. Jay, not a kid at all. He's been at it. He's been doing it for years. Come on, Mike Ditka. I just can tell he wants to be a part of the Bears organization and doesn't want to burn a bridge. All right, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio.
To get behind him. It's not about scoring points on offense. It's about stopping people doing the right things.
This is very bizarre because this is coming from the year 2016. If you were to listen to this and hear the excitement and optimism about Jay, you would think this clip's from 2010 or 2011 when they almost went to the Super Bowl and they lost to the Packers in the championship game. You would think they would have a fighting chance. This is very, very bizarre to hear Mike Ditka being nice and saying, oh yeah, you know, anything can happen, even though he's been there a decade, essentially, you know, and is 34 years old. Yeah, whatever. You never know in life. I mean, come on, Mike.
Special team. It's about the whole team. I'm not outwardly defending Cutler any more than anybody else. I say it's very hard when you throw the blame on one individual. They didn't play good as a team. This was a team loss. It wasn't Jay Cutler.
Of course, it wasn't just Jay who lost the game. There's the whole team. You can just tell in that clip that Mike Ditka, you know, was trying to be nice. And it's very bizarre to hear. It's kind of like anybody when they get older and their whole life they've been edgy. If it's a radio host or a person in a rock band or an outspoken athlete. It's very bizarre when they reach their 70s or even their 50s and they go from being edgy and crazy to then just being normal. It's very odd. This is who I think Mike Ditka is. I think he put on the act a lot when he was the Bears coach and when he was on ESPN doing those crazy, wild segments. I think Mike Ditka is an okay guy. I don't think he's that edgy that he put on. I think he's just an okay guy, and you can tell in that clip. All right. I also have this clip. We're really breaking down the sports today, talking about Johnny Manziel's partying habits, to Jay now living up to what we thought he'd be on the Bears. And now we're talking about the actress, I might say, from the sex tape, what everyone's favorite, Von Miller. So we know how she tried to get money out of him, and the rumors were flying out. She claims she didn't keep the tape because she needed the money. She claims she just wanted to have the tape for her own self-pleasure, you know? Makes complete sense. This next clip, I mean, I don't know what happened in your life where you're this open about sex. I mean, it's one thing to be open about sex. Something happened in this girl's life where she's cool with just coming off kind of slutty a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying she's a whore or a skank. I'm just saying when you're making a whole video talking about how you touch yourself to a video, you don't have class. You're not the girl I would bring home to the Thanksgiving dinner and be like, hey guys, here's Star, you know, part of the Von Miller sex tape, you know. At least with the Kardashians, they go, haha, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we S to D, but we're better now. This girl is very open about her sexuality. All right, we have a caller in Happy Hour. See how this goes. Happy Hour.
How you doing? What's going on?
What's up? What do you have to say?
Not much. My name is Tony Polino. I'm from New York City.
Good. That's the annoying part about doing a show online is the fact that there's not a phone screener yet. So if I had a phone screener, you would have a way to screen through the calls, but it's all good in the neighborhood. If it makes you feel good, the prank call the show, and it makes you like feel better about yourself, and now you're going to have a great night. Whatever helps you out, man. It's all good. All right, here's the clip. The girl talking about why she has the Von Miller sex tape.
That night, me and Vaughn ended up having sex in the room. And while we were having sex, he was like, we should probably record this. When I finally gave in...
Dude! Vaughn! What are you doing? Haven't you seen the show Ballers on HBO? Don't you have a crew around you? Don't you learn that in those NFL meetings, like when the rookies first join and they have the recruitment meetings? Isn't that 101? When you're a famous person, you don't make a sex tape unless you want to be a Kardashian or a Paris Hilton where you have no talent and you have no class. So there's the perfect way to get famous by making a sex tape. But when you're a professional football player, a superstar, you don't make a tape if you don't want it to come out. Of course it's going to come out. Oh my God, man. It's one thing if she said, let's make a sex tape, and then you go along with it as she's going down on you. But to incite the idea, you want to make a sex tape when you're one of the most known players, a Super Bowl champion. Huh? Are you out of your mind, dude?
Fine, we'll record it. So I pulled out my phone and we started recording.
You know this girl is so happy. I bet at first she was happy that she was about to bang an NFL player, you know, because she's probably just into NFL players. But you know, once she heard him say, let's film it, she could just hear the money in her head. She was already counting what she wanted to make. It was going cha-ching, cha-ching when she heard him say, let's make a sex tape. Even though I'm a famous linebacker in the NFL, no big deal.
The whole time, everything was consensual. After the trip, Vaughn did call me, and we talked briefly and was like, do you still have the tape? I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, oh, shoot, sorry. And he was like, I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, okay, cool, send it to me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to send it to you. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because...
Imagine that when you're Von Miller and you're giving this girl a call and you're just hoping and you're thinking that she was going to be cool and be like, yeah, you know, I'll get rid of it. But that immediate reaction where she goes, nah, I have it. And he's like, huh? Thought we got rid of that. Just imagine that, dude. You can't put yourself in that situation. I'm not that smart of a guy, and I know that you don't make sex tapes if you're a famous NFL player.
Get out and this and that. He was like, okay, cool. But he had recorded clips on his phone as well, which I was already like, I felt like he'd had enough on his phone. It was nothing like, he never asked me to delete it, not once. And there was no gotcha. I didn't say gotcha or anything like that. And
he probably didn't know how dumb of a decision this is until he was at his mansion, at the pool with his boys. And he's like, yeah, you know that girl? And then they're like, which one? He's like, yeah, that one girl. I made a sex tape with her. And they're like, huh? Are you out of your mind? I can just imagine that when he broke the news to his boys or his manager that he made a sex tape, that it was just crazy. I bet their head got red like in a cartoon, like where the cartoon character gets mad. I can just imagine his team is like, what are you doing? I mean, are you out of your mind making this tape, dude? I don't get the reasoning by these athletes. It's just this godlike sort of idea. They have this mindset that they're gods and they're better than us, and nothing's going to ever happen. You know what I mean?
The story of it, you know? I never, ever went up to Vaughn to ask him for $2.5 million or for $1. I never told Vaughn, give me this much money.
If you didn't want money from Vaughn, then you never would have talked about this publicly, because you would have cared about his feelings and wouldn't have to have been famous. But you have no talent. Nobody knew who you were, star. So of course you came out, you were hoping to make money. Shut your mouth. Of course you're trying to make money, honey. Hey, that rhymed.
Not, I felt like that I would have had that kind of case on me. That wasn't the case. My attorney went to them and told them what the situation was, that there was a tape that had been recorded in Cancun. They threw out the first number. They said, you know, this much, and my attorney counter-offered with the $2.5 million.
It was your attorney. It wasn't you. If you didn't want the money and you didn't approve of what the attorney was doing, you could have just fired him on the spot. Oh, wait, that's right. You wanted the money. Shut up.
Delete the tape once you get back from Cancun.
Well, because I used it to play with myself.
If you like what you just saw and you want to see more videos of your...
All right, shut up. It's the worst excuse ever because, you know, in 2017, we have computers. We have smartphones. We have smart devices. You can even go to an adult bookshop in the middle of West Virginia on the side of the highway and get anything you want. There is no reason in hell that that tape was any more special than any type of porn you can see on any of the websites online, where the internet is basically the home of pornography, and then Facebook. I remember I heard somewhere that it's like 40% of the internet is porn, so you can get whatever you want. I bet there's porn of guys that look like Von Miller. There was no reason for you to keep the tape. You kept it because you have no talent and you don't know where you're going in life. You're probably 28, 29 years old. You're 10 years removed from high school and you're like, jackpot!
Happy hour. Happy hour. From Chicago to Cleveland to Tampa Bay, you are plugged into Happy Hour. From Chicago to Cleveland to Tampa Bay, you are plugged into Happy Hour. From Chicago to Cleveland to Tampa Bay, you are plugged into Happy Hour.
Shut up!
All right, call the show. 856-49-HOPPY. 856-49-HOPPY. Tweet me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and get the Hoppe Radio app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio. Hoppe Radio. All right, the shooter from South Carolina that went into that African-American church and took those innocent lives. The decision whether he will get life in prison or the death penalty has officially come in. And I am very, very happy with this decision. So we have the news from Fox News. Here's the clip.
Death. Dylann Roof has been sentenced to death in Charleston, South Carolina.
Good. Glad he was sentenced to death. Here's the thing. We give these guys rights and we let them become celebrities like Adam Lanza and the guy with the orange hair in Denver a few years ago at the Dark Knight movie. And I think this sets a precedent that hopefully there's a whack job right now that is planning a shooting and he goes, oh, wait, he's going to be put to death. Roof is. I don't want to be like him. I don't want to die. So hopefully this will prevent more shootings from happening. Hopefully this will cause it to go down a little bit because they're going, man, I'm not going anywhere in life. Nobody loves me. But I like being alive and I don't want to spend life in prison and I don't want to die. So I'm not going to do it. It's a very, very good precedent, especially in the South where the church that he shot up doesn't believe in the death penalty. But good on these jurors for coming to the plate and swinging a grand slam, if you ask me.
And the killing of 9 churchgoers at a predominantly black church in Charleston, South Carolina, and represented himself, acted as his own lawyer without calling any witnesses in his own defense.
What sucks is this was a private case. There was no TV. And I would love to see this buffoon. I would love to see this dirtbag, this cretin, this evil piece of crap try to defend himself and be his own lawyer. I'm so mad that all we get are crappy sketches of him. I would love to see that little pussy try to defend what he did. I would love to see that. But we'll never get to see it. But just the idea of him trying to defend the lives that are gone, obviously, because of him, man, that would have been comical to see him just get slammed in court. Because you know that the lawyers would have brought it against him because they would have wanted their 15 minutes of fame on TV. So they would have had one-liners, and it would have been juicy. Not trying to make entertainment out of it. I would have just loved to see that little pussy get put in his place.
Imprisonment or death. It is death. Jonathan Sari is on scene and can tell us more. Jonathan.
Neil, Dylann Roof looked down with his hands folded as the jury read its verdict. They agreed to all of the prosecution's allegations against him that he willfully committed these murders.
I wonder what's going on in a dude's brain where he's just looking down, no emotion. I don't even know if he wants to be alive or he wants to be dead or if he even knows what he did. Like, I know he's racist and I know he knows what he did. But I feel like he's so whacked out and he's such a sociopath that he doesn't even know really what he did. I don't even think he gets the concept of death or anything. I think he is so whacked out of his mind. He's just very sick in the head and was just born a bad person. Because I believe that can happen, and I believe it happens over time too if you have a bad upbringing.
Hated African Americans, that this was indeed a hate crime, and then they handed down their decision that Dylann Roof indeed should be sentenced to death. The jury had to come up with a unanimous verdict on the sentence in order for him to be sentenced to execution. Otherwise, the default sentence would have been life in prison.
He must have really carried himself awfully in court. He must have had no sympathy, because if he had a good lawyer, they would have said, oh, he's sick in the head. My client had a bad childhood. Yeah, he's guilty. But just let him live a life. Let him try to potentially live, just let him spend his life in prison. You know that if he had any type of lawyer, there would have been 1 or 2 jurors that would have made it not unanimous. But when this little punk-ass bitch tries to defend himself, that's when he gets unanimous death. I love it. Burn in hell.
The possibility of release. Earlier today, Dylann Roof, acting as his own attorney, delivered his own closing argument. His closing argument lasted for only 5 minutes. He quietly asked the jury to give him a life sentence and then rhetorically asked the jury, quote, wouldn't it be fair to say that the prosecution hates me because they're trying to give me the death penalty?
No, they hate you because you went into a church and shot 7 people and you show no remorse and no emotion and you're a sick sociopath punk ass bitch. That's why we hate you. And we hate you because your bowl cut, your haircut looks atrocious on you and it's something from the 90s. Oh, poor Dylan, we hate you. Shut the hell up. I wanted to say the F word, but I didn't. Shut up, dude.
Hates anything in their mind, has a good reason for it, and sometimes that's because they've been misled, and sometimes it isn't. But I would say that in this case, the prosecution, along with anyone else who hates me, are the ones who have been misled.
It's not like there was a group of people that went in. It's not like there's a potential chance that maybe he was a part of a gang that shut up the black church, a racist gang, but we can't prove if he did it or not. He's the clear-cut shooter. There's clear evidence that he did it. So it's crazy when he's trying to pull this sympathy card. Like, yeah, whatever. He showed no remorse. No wonder you're getting put to death. You can't even fake a cry. You're so whacked out that you can't even come up with the idea of trying to feel bad.
Argument, Dylann Roof argued that he was not filled with hate, as the prosecution had alleged.
So what were you full of when you went into that African-American church and you admitted that you're racist and you took their lives? Were you full of love, taking away potential daughters, brothers, significant others, sons? You were taking away potential family members and friends? Was that full of love and hope and emotion now that they're taking a dirt nap because of you pussy?
A lead prosecutor in this case delivering a closing argument that lasted a little bit longer than 2 hours.
What's the closing argument? How does it go for 2 hours? He took lives. He shows no emotion. Take him in the back and shoot him. There is no reason Dylann Roof should be breathing right now. It is a waste of taxpayers' money having him in jail. And it's just a waste of everybody's time because you know there's going to be people in jail that aren't going to want to look at his face and his piece of crap bowl cut haircut, and they're just going to want to beat him up. And there's just going to be a lot of problems in jail and in prison. So you might as well take him in the back. And I know this is what every keyboard warrior says. I know this is what everyone says, but I truly mean it. I'm not lying. All you have to do is take him into an alley or take them into some pay-per-view event, and all you have to do is just shoot them. And that's it. It's an eye for an eye. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You just take them, and you get rid of them, and we move on. I'm not even trying to say because it'd be entertaining or for violence. It would just be worth it. There's no reason to have him around, but no. We're going to have him wait 30 years until he dies when he's 50 and gets to live a good portion of his life. Makes sense in my book. Not at all.
Roof remained unrepentant and reminded jurors that as recently as this very trial, he had attended some of the hearings, walking into the courtroom wearing shoes with handwritten racist symbols on them.
Gee, why would we hate you, Dylann Roof, after you went into a church with a racist, hate-filled crime and took away innocent black people's lives at a prayer service? You then wear racist words and racist symbols on your shoes while you're in court for the case of taking people's lives. Gee, Dylan, I wonder why we hate you, you pussy.
Jurors were persuaded by the prosecution's case and their closing argument, agreeing that Dylann Roof should pay the ultimate penalty for killing 9 members of Emmanuel AME Church back in 2015.
All right. We're going to end the show real quick. And when I say real quick, it makes it seem like it's not going to end. But yeah, it is going to end soon. But I don't even want to get into this headline real long. Saw this online. See this on many websites. It's really annoying. It's a slow news day when you talk about it. And I'm not going to get into it very long. And it's about Ronda Rousey. And before I get into the article, it's just complete tabloid crap. It wasn't that I was glad that she lost, because I just don't care either way about the UFC. It's not even because she's a female. I've never gotten into it. But she's just so damn cocky. And I don't like the idea and the facts that she used to beat up her boyfriend, and she wrote about it, and her crap doesn't smell according to her, and she thinks it's okay to get away with beating up a significant other if it's a female. Never, ever, ever have ever liked Ronda Rousey, so I felt no sympathy that she's lost the last 2 fights. She wasn't very good in the Entourage movie. She comes off very arrogant and very much cocky and entitled when I saw her on Jimmy Kimmel Live and all the talk shows. So there was not a part of me that felt bad when she lost. But there is a part of me that sees this headline and just realizes that this is when the paparazzi, it's like, come on, man. You think this is journalism? You think this is creative? It says here, Ronda Rousey shows the pain in her eyes. Of course, you know, because there's pictures being taken of her at her house, as she is pictured for the first time after her 48-second UFC defeat, and after finding out that her house has been vandalized. What has to be going on in your life where you vandalize her house? Like, did that make you feel better because nobody loves you and you're not going anywhere in life, and you figured out a way to get through the security and a way to deface her house? When you went home at night, did you feel better about yourself? What did you accomplish by defacing her house? And the graffiti is some of the worst I've ever seen. I've seen better graffiti on the side of a grocery shop, that's what I'm trying to say, in Chicago that has lame graffiti. This is some of the worst graffiti I've ever seen. Did you feel better about yourself? Utterly ridiculous. I feel bad at this point. I'm not a fan of her as a person or as a fighter, but when your house is getting defaced, it's like, come on. What are we getting out of this? Her Venice Beach house was vandalized last night. She has maintained a low profile since her return to the UFC, which ended in a loss. The fight just took 48 seconds for her to lose. This is her second loss after a similar experience in 2015. It says here that she is seen on the deck of her house with her hair looking like she hasn't taken a shower, and she's wearing a Reebok exercise outfit and looks like she hasn't slept in days. Well, I'm sure she's not getting the best of sleep because she lost the fight. And I'm sure that Ronda Rousey didn't appreciate that her house is being surrounded by the paparazzi. And the weird part about the paparazzi is the fact that you don't know what you're going to look like, and she knows that she doesn't look great that morning, and pictures are being taken, and you don't know where those pictures are going to be used. So I'm pretty sure the reason she looks tired and anxious and annoyed is because these losers who make money by bothering famous people are outside of her house. I don't think it's completely because she lost the fight. I think it's because you guys are losers. The pictures which were taken on Monday show the bruises from her 48-second fight. She also lost the fight because of a lack of passion, according to this article, which I would potentially agree with. It is unconfirmed if she will return to the ring, as they claim that that might be the end of her career. She is the first American woman to fight an Olympic medal in judo, and she is known for her arrogance in the ring and has previously said that she could defeat everyone in her division with one arm tied behind her back. That's what I'm saying. She has this cockiness. She has this attitude like her crap doesn't smell, so that's why I didn't feel bad when she lost. She went through a bunch of abuse on social media. When I hear the word abuse and I hear the word social media, it doesn't make any sense. Did those tweets hurt you any more than the bruises that night when you lost Ronda? Did it ruin your day? Were you not able to get up? It might have, but there's no reason it should. These are just losers who hide behind a keyboard and would never say it to your face because you would beat them up. And they would never say it to anybody's face because they have no social confidence and no social skills to say it to someone. So they hide behind the keyboard, and they might have 1,000 people that have added them back on Twitter because those are the 1,000 people that add anybody back on Twitter. So these losers have this whole idea that they're going to talk to the celebrities and be edgy. I'll talk to them from my couch in my living room. So the idea that that's abuse is... it's laughable, really, that they would even say that that would be abuse. To me, abuse is when you're getting hit in the head. And she posts, and she had a post on Twitter of this meme that she put up, this quote, and it's from J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. And here's the quote she put on her social media. And so rock bottom because the foundation on which I rebuilt my life. No, let me reread that. The page just froze. So I hit rock bottom, and it became the foundation on which I rebuilt my life. Great. Riveting, Rhonda. If this was any humble player, like let's say if it was Curry in the NBA and he lost, it would make a little more sense. But when you said you could beat anybody in a fight, and you said you could do it with your arms tied behind your back, and then you're in movies, and you took a break from the UFC, you basically got humbled.
About to end, but first, it's time for last call.
Ow! Ow! All right, happy hour is about to end, but that doesn't mean you can't listen to the show anywhere in the world. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and get the Hoppe Radio app in your Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, Hoppe Radio. There you can listen anywhere in the world. Email me, ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. It's ryanhopperadio@gmail.com. Happy Hour has been brought to you by Soli's Graphics out of Duluth, Minnesota. My guy Nicholas Seymour has a great decal company. Go to tinyurl.com/happyhourdecal. It's tinyurl.com/happyhourdecal. For just $2, for just $2, for just 8 quarters, for just 20 dimes, you can get happy hour decals and you can promote the show. I just dropped my phone. What a riveting setup I have here at Happy Hour. Let's just say that. The fact that I have a ways to go. All right, that was embarrassing. I moved my arm and I knocked down Hoppy TV. This segment has been brought to you by Main Event Boxing, and they helped me get ready for my fight against Jake Herron. Go there at 2575 28th Avenue North in St. Pete and call Main Event Boxing at 727-564-3948. That's 727-564-3948. If you go to Main Event Boxing and you talk to Joshua and James and you tell them that I sent you, they will hook you up with a deal. This segment has been brought to you by, it has also been brought to you by the Tampa Bay Image Factory and my guy Joe Sale. He is the one that took those really cool pictures of me, the cool press shots back in June. Call him at 813-417-2626. That's 813-417-2626. Like him on Facebook and go to TampaImageFactory.com. All right. We are going to rebuild the show. And obviously, after each show, I plan on to grind. And I plan on keep on grinding to make it in radio. And we're going to figure this out. I like doing the show by myself, but I also like the idea of doing a team. But when I have listeners like you guys listening to the show, it makes it possible. It keeps the grind going because we have record-breaking numbers in new markets, because I can see it on Spreaker, who is listening to my show, and it's very flattering. I appreciate it. We have listens in Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota, Chicago, Ottawa, Canada, Tampa, Cape May Courthouse in New Jersey, the good old ROC, home of the Brother Weeze Morning Show, Philly, Newark, Miami, and Toronto. I appreciate it, guys. Spread the word. This has been Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.